And connected to this idea of health, what would you say is the normal lifespan of humanity if we were healthy and more spiritually aware and in our natural state?
At this point in your evolution, if many of the things that diminished your lifespan were removed without activating you in any particular way, genetically speaking, that would otherwise allow for you to reach heightened levels of longevity, we would say about 150 to 200 years would be your normal lifespan as a people if the things currently bringing your lifespan down were removed. Now, let's say you stayed at that level for 1,000 years. Very quickly, your human lifespan would grow because of the way your DNA would attempt to improve upon itself. So very quickly, within a few generations, you could be living to 300 and beyond.
Hmm.
Right now, if those assaults on longevity were removed, about 150 to 200 years would be the normal lifespan.
So essentially, our lifespan is half right now of what it should be. And
Yes, that's right.
and would you say that that is mostly from physical toxins or more from the mental
Spiritual,
level, spiritual?
spiritual, mental, emotional, mainly non-physical levels are what are impacting that the most. Because when you're only aware of the physical level, when this is all you know, it's like you are 50% cut off from life force altogether. You're trying to just nourish yourself with food and water, yet sustenance is around you and within you at all times. What ends up happening is because of that sense of I am cut off from this universal sustenance, I must consume to receive sustenance. Now the person is not only limited to food for that energy, but now they have to pay the price of detoxification to acquire that. They have to eat, then they have to digest it, they have to break it down and remove it. And they end up with less energy than they put in. So just through being on the planet and being reduced in your awareness to the material immediately begins to subtract time available to you here on Earth.
Connected to this is negative emotions, negative beliefs, feeling separated from God, things like that, right?
Sure, sure. Well, those things impact your quality of life, your length of life as well. Yes, but ultimately, these things impact your quality of life through, again, a type of misunderstanding. When you are unaware of that spiritual level, when those feelings show up, when those thoughts show up, when those stressors show up, you get tricked into thinking they have more power over you. And the stress response that's created in that experience is what then takes away from life and life force. But if you were to maintain an awareness of the underlying level of reality, those emotions, those thoughts, those feelings would pass through you and they would not subtract from your life force. They would not subtract from your longevity at all. But it's when those things are fought, it's when they're seen as a threat, it's when they're seen as somehow being bigger than you, then those things can push you around a little bit. So ultimately, the decrease in longevity from our perspective is more of a spiritual phenomenon. It's more so connected to a decreased level of awareness. When your species is less aware of that spiritual dimension, the challenges of the physical world not only become more powerful, but they seem more real. And they then use that sense of realness against an individual and can begin to diminish their life force and longevity.
And how much does it factor in the fact that a lot of humans, they don't have a purpose or something to create to give them a reason to live longer than 80 years or something? That's a
Yes,
key part of it, right?
that's a big role as well. Yes. A sense of purpose will enable you to reach far into your timeline in terms of growth and accessing golden years and beyond into what you might call platinum or diamond years or something like this. So a purpose that you have created for yourself will be like an extra layer of fuel that can push you further, that can propel you further on the journey. Most individuals, when they are aware of that spiritual level of reality, will reveal to themselves whatever that purpose is. Because you come into this reality, you're born into this reality with a type of DNA-based purpose The very body you have picked, the timeline you have selected, the bloodline that you're connected to, all of this contains within it certain gifts, certain abilities, certain properties that are specifically designed to assist you in your mission, that are designed to assist you in your purpose. So no dimension of the reality is accidental. Even things that look accidental are actually there to create a certain type of effect to propel you forward. So as you become more aware of your spiritual self, as you become more aware of this underlying dimension to existence, that dimension of existence will speak to you, and it reveals to you the purpose you have been born with, connected to the body you've selected, the bloodline you've selected, the parents you've selected. And you, as a conscious entity reflecting upon this built-in purpose, will then create for yourself, whilst simultaneously discovering for yourself your holistic purpose, whatever that might be. So it's going to be something that you create, and it's going to be something that is already alive within you that you've been inspired by. So just through getting to know oneself, through knowing that spirit level, a person's purpose is created and is unveiled to them, and then that further propels their longevity and further amplifies their vitality.